I've been married to my husband for just over a year and dating him for just over 2. He has a daughter from his first marriage, Ali, who is 11. Up until recently, Ali has been staying with us 3 nights a week and alternate weekends, but she's been getting more and more difficult to deal with. She started acting out just after the wedding, and her behavior just keeps getting worse. She doesn't listen to me at all. If I ask her to tidy her room or brush her teeth, she'll always respond within a minute or similar things, but not actually do it until my husband tells her to. She won't acknowledge me as her stepmother at all. She only ever refers to me by name if she's asked who I am. If she's absolutely pushed to describe who I am in relation to her, she says I'm her dad's wife. I've tried so hard to connect with her. I've invited her on shopping trips or to go out for food, but she always rebuffs my offers. She often answers back to me and my husband and will be snappy and moody in general a lot of the time. In the last few months, my husband and I have been talking about trying for our own baby, but the atmosphere and stress surrounding the house on days Ali is here are starting to worry me. I struggle to cope with her behavior now. Being pregnant is only going to make it harder. So my husband and I discussed it and decided it would be better to cut down on some of Ali's time with us. Instead of 3 days every week and alternate weekends, we agreed to 3 weekdays one week, then the weekend of the following week, then back to 3 weekdays the week after that, and so on. It's not a huge reduction, but it will really lighten the load for me. My husband talked to Ali's mother about this, and she is furious. She called me some horrible names and blamed me for everything. She even accused me of trying to push Ali out of the picture to create my own perfect little family, which is completely untrue. My husband is on my side, but is scared of fighting his ex. I don't think what I'm asking for is unreasonable, but a friend said maybe I need to try to think about it from Ali and her mother's perspective. Am I being unreasonable about this? You are the idiot for so many reasons. I also want to point out that you don't need to be telling this little girl to clean her room. You're not a parent. You're her step-parent. You don't need to be giving this girl orders. That's her dad's job, and any therapist, had y'all bothered to see one, would tell you as such, because it breeds resentment in the kid to have a new grown-up bossing them around. Y'all are failing this kid. You came here for a verdict, yet you're arguing with everyone. You an idiot, your husband too, and I feel terrible for Ali and her mom. You're the idiot. You want to see some bad behavior, follow through with this, we don't want you around plan. You signed up for having a preteen in the home when you married her father. Put yourself in her position and imagine if your parents had split, your dad remarried, and then his wife, who had only been in your life for a year, when that happened, started limiting your time with him. Your husband needs to step up and be a real father to her. You might want to hold off on the having a baby plan until he demonstrates that he can be a better parent. You're the idiot. Wow. Just. Wow. Of course, Ali is going to have behavior issues. She is dealing with her parents' divorce. Of course, she isn't going to magically accept you as a mother figure or as an authority. Since you married your husband, you need to deal with the fact that he has a stepdaughter. Instead of trying for a baby now, you should be going to family counseling and working this out. You shouldn't be trying to get your stepdaughter to see her father less. The ex is right and you are trying to push your stepdaughter out of the picture. My daughter is 24 and has been dating her boyfriend for around 10 months. It's her father's 60th birthday this year, and we're having a big party at our house with lots of relatives. The daughter and her boyfriend are invited and are staying as they don't live too close and want to drink. We were discussing sleeping arrangements, and after listing off a few others, the following conversation happened. You can have your room, but you'll have to share with your aunt, and boyfriend can sleep on the futon in the study. What? Why can't me and boyfriend have my room and aunt sleep in the study? I don't think you and boyfriend should be sharing a room. Older sister and husband are sharing. Older sister and husband are married, it's completely different. So you'll only take my relationship seriously if I get married. What if I never get married? Me and boyfriend aren't going to do anything at my parents' house anyway, so why does it matter? And why is it okay for sister and husband to make love at your house just because they have a stupid piece of paper? I just don't like the idea of it under my roof. What you do elsewhere is up to you, but at my house I think I get a say in these things. I'm sure you'll be fine without each other for one night. You don't take me or my relationship seriously. I'm an adult, but you don't treat me like one. It doesn't matter if it's one night, it's the principle behind it. She left after this, and we haven't been able to come to a conclusion. I still don't want them sharing a bed at my house, and my daughter is saying she won't stay if they can't. There are no nearby hotels as well. I've quite a way out in the country, so if they didn't stay they'd have to leave early to get home and wouldn't be able to enjoy the party as much. Husband says he doesn't much like the idea of them sharing either, but wants his daughter to be there on his birthday. I don't know what to do here. I really don't think I'm asking much for one night of them not sleeping together, but maybe I am being unreasonable. No idiots here. This is a difference of value systems. I'm going to be downvoted to eternity here because Redditors share your daughter's value system. As it happens, so do I, but you are entitled to yours. And it is your house. The question you need to ask yourself is how strongly you feel about this. You'll be making 5 people's lives much easier if you give way, your daughters, her partners, the aunts, and yours and your husband's, so if you don't you need to be very sure of your adherence to your value system. You're the idiot. Allow me to posit the following scenario. Your now 34-year-old daughter stays with this boyfriend and wishes to visit for her dad's 70th day, but she and her boyfriend are still yet to marry. They even have children together. Is he allowed to stay in the room or be relegated to second-class citizen? And by the way, I would never share a bed with another grown adult, even if she were my aunt. That's incredibly weird and would be a deal breaker. Super uncomfortable and will only serve to be a point of contention over the near and long term. They've been together for 10 months, it's pretty serious if she's bringing him to the party. And she's 24, not a child. And she's right, if she never gets married will she and her boyfriend have to sleep in separate rooms for the rest of their lives? You'll be inconveniencing another person if you're making them share a room with your daughter so she can't be with her boyfriend. You'll be inconveniencing your daughter and her partner every single time she's over, if not with a sleeping arrangement, then with them having to leave early and drive hours to get to you and back. You're the idiot. I guess I need to say upfront I'm not an outdoors type person. But I was sort of excited to go on a hike yesterday. We are in San Diego for the 4th of July, and my cousin said it would be really fun if me and my friends went on a hike while she, cousin, had to work. We went to a place called Coles Mountain, which I guess is about 45 minutes away from the hotel downtown. When we got there it was pretty crowded and we saw a group of guys coming down who were just blasting rap music. I was like, wow, that would be an awesome way to not get bored on the hike, so I went back to my car and got my Bluetooth speaker from my pack and hit my favorite Spotify list. Most people didn't seem to mind, but I did notice that we started to get occasional dirty looks. But finally, one person stopped me and told me it was incredibly rude to play music out loud and that I should be using headphones. I told her that I was playing music for our group. And she basically that it's still very rude and against the rules, but she kept walking. We decided we just weren't going to make it to the top, so we stopped at a kind of flat spot and sat down for a while, and this is when things actually got kind of scary. This guy and his girlfriend came up to us and said again that I should be using headphones. I told her that we were in a group. She said that it didn't matter, most people were trying to enjoy quiet nature. I told her that it's public land. She said, if you weren't such an ignorant fat idiot you would have noticed the sign at the bottom that said no speakers. I basically shut down because I'm not good at confrontation, but my friend asked her if she wanted to repeat herself. So the girlfriend called her a fat idiot as well, and her boyfriend had to drag her away, she was so upset. I didn't want any more hassle, so I turned off the speaker and they walked away, but the girl was just glaring at us, and I was actually scared that they would slash my tires or something at the bottom. I have been reliving the confrontation over and over again and didn't sleep last night. I admit to being fully ignorant because I don't do a lot of outdoor stuff, but was that really a big deal? I mean, at least one other group we saw was doing it, so I can't be that out of touch. All I was trying to do was make it a little more enjoyable and really meant no offense. I posted this on another sub and was referenced here, so I'm a little scared just because of the title, but please be honest with me. Was I doing something wrong? You're the idiot. I love hiking. I want to get out in nature. Away from the busy life. Hear the sounds of birds, the wind, flowing water. It's very peaceful and mentally refreshing. It's incredibly rude and inconsiderate to everyone else on the trail who has to listen to it. You're ruining the experience for everyone. You and your friends are being very selfish. It also scares the wildlife. These are animals who aren't used to hearing these things, and now you've ruined a bird watcher or another hiker from seeing certain wildlife because you've scared them off. You're the idiot. 1. Listen to your music on your headphones like an adult. 2. If you want to listen in a group, do not do that in a public place. 3. If you find hikes so boring, don't go on one. I don't agree with the manner in which you were confronted, but the fact that you are still actually questioning whether it was an idiot move to blast your music in nature is beyond me. Especially after multiple dirty looks and confrontations. Are you that dense? Expect to be confronted about idiot behavior when behaving like an idiot. You're the idiot. I think you've encountered a multitude of people who actually love going on hikes to enjoy nature with as little human influence, like music, as possible. They all told you what you did was in bad taste. I understand that is something you want to do, but one's rights cannot override others. Please don't do it again, as it destroys everybody's experience around you. I've just spent 7 days hiking, and this would have made me mad, as well as I lead quite a stressful life, and spending time in nature helps me wind down. You can listen to music on your headphones everywhere. I don't have anything against my daughter's boyfriend as a person. However, I am concerned that my daughter, 21, does not know what she's getting into with this relationship, and it frightens me that they are talking seriously about marriage. Her boyfriend, I'll call him Tom, has a genetic disease that causes him to have extreme muscle weakness and limited motor skills. I'm not a doctor, so my understanding of his disease is that of a layperson, but I do know the following things. He is wheelchair bound. He needs help showering and even using the toilet. She literally has to hold him up on the seat the whole time he's using it, or he will fall over. Also, the limited use he has of his arms means that he even has to be spooned or hand-fed. And obviously, my daughter will be prepping and cooking every meal. Anyway, as you can see, his limitations are extreme, and, as far as I know, he is not ever going to get better in this regard. They hardly ever go out on real dates, as Tom prefers the comforts of his home. A date to them is my daughter wheeling him around in the park or at the mall. On the rare occasion when they do go out to eat or something, my daughter has told me people generally assume she is his caretaker, and they get tired of correcting them. Tom is also very small, particularly his legs, and people frequently mistake him for a child. My concern is that my daughter is living the life of an old woman nursing an aging husband. Yet they are both in their 20s. My daughter tells me they can have children, but I imagine it would have to be via artificial insemination. I haven't asked too many questions about that because she gets uncomfortable, which I can understand. What I do know is that they will never be able to live even a semi-normal existence as a couple. Up until a year and a half ago, Tom lived with his mother, who was his caretaker. Since he and my daughter have gotten an apartment together though, my daughter has taken over bathing, feeding, and toileting him. Her only break seems to be when she goes to class, during which time Tom has a day nurse that stays with him. I know that some people may think I'm an awful person for feeling this way, but I can't help but feel concerned about what my daughter is signing up for. She is a sweet and gentle girl, but I worry that she is also quite naive and idealistic. I don't think she's considered what life will be like for her years down the road when her 20s are behind her. Anyway, there is a lot more I could write about all of this, but I think I've laid out the basics. Am I the idiot? No idiots here. Your daughter has every right to choose her own spouse, but you have every right to be concerned about her choice. Being a caregiver for a spouse is not an easy life, so it's totally reasonable for you to worry that she doesn't understand what she's getting into here. Maybe you should encourage her to wait a while before marrying the guy, to give her time to be 100% sure this is what she wants. If she decides to marry him, all you can really do at that point is offer love and support to both of them. Good luck to you. I go with not the idiot. Only reading the title actually made me think what a horrible person you must be. But now, after reading your write-up and thinking a few moments about it, I have changed my mind. It's a really complicated situation. My advice would be to somehow convince her not to marry right now. Tell her they can still marry once they are together, let's say another 5 years, which is somewhat unlikely, I'd say. It's hard to say, but your daughter has her entire life waiting for her to be lived, he doesn't. You're the idiot. Or rather you would be if you actually asked her not to marry him because you feel his disability will be a burden to her. She doesn't feel that way. She simply sees the man she loves. If she is happy to provide care, who are you to tell her she's wrong or predict the future for her and decide how she will feel? Disability is only a moment away for any of us. I'm sure if your daughter was the disabled one you would want her to have love in her life, wouldn't you? What parent would want anything else for their child? A week ago my kids and I were driving home from school. If I had done something wrong, I would cop to it, so honest to God I don't think I did anything wrong. Out of the blue, a guy in tuner car was next to us screaming, "Move that freaking piece of crap or I'll blow you away." I reactively flipped him off, which I should not have done, so he swerved in front of us, almost taking our front end off. He spent the next 1 or 2 minutes short stopping in front of us, getting behind us and racing up like he was going to rear-end us, and again almost clipping our front end. After that, he sped off at like 1,000,000 miles an hour, and we thought we were done with him, but it was very, very scary. About 10 minutes down the road at an intersection, we saw the guy's car with about 3 motorcycle cops. As we pulled up we saw that he was on the ground with handcuffs on with a cop's knee in his back. I rolled down my windows and yelled out, "Ha, that's what you get, idiot," and started honking my horn. The guy clearly made eye contact with me and mouthed either "I'll get you," but I didn't really care. One of the cops came over to the passenger window and asked if we knew the guy. I quickly explained we had an incident with him a few miles back. The cop asked me to pull over into the parking lot and speak with him. At first, I thought I was in trouble, but basically, the cop took my statement and number. I asked what road rage guy had done to end up on the pavement, and he said rather not say since my statement on the previous incident may come up with separate charges. I asked if I was going to get in trouble for yelling and honking, and he said no, that he and his fellow officers found it very funny. So I haven't heard from anyone with a need to make a statement, but my wife is furious with me. She thinks I put our kids at risk by even engaging the guy. I told her I didn't speed after him, I didn't threaten him, and I drove safe the entire time. She is mad at me for flipping him off, but she is mad to the point of us needing a therapy couple for yelling him at the light. My 4-year-old son, I guess, is walking around yelling "That's what you get, idiot," and she feels that I've exposed ourselves to a maniac when I could have just driven away quietly. My counter to that is I gave the police more evidence to bust this guy. She strongly disagrees. Was I the idiot for yelling at this guy? Everyone's the idiot here, but not for reasons you think. I actually applaud you for honking and flipping him off. There is nothing wrong with that. The problem here are your children and the message you sent to them. You're wrong, you really did give police more reasons to charge this piece of turd, but that still doesn't excuse the fact that your children absorbed your bad behavior like a sponge. You are a father, you should act like a father, not a child. You are definitely downplaying the effect you've had on your kids. Everyone's the idiot here. You are only idiot because it's justified. You put your kids at risk by reacting to the guy and arguing with him and all that, but at the same time, the guy deserves it. I don't blame you for your actions, but I believe you should see it from her perspective too. Things look very different when you are in control versus when you are just there to react if something happens. You're sitting shotgun and your wife starts to argue with some stranger, and you can't do anything because you aren't in control. You are the idiot. I get pissed while driving and throw the Boston wave on occasion as well, but the only acceptable response to road rage is calling the cops if the other driver is acting dangerously. You're in a steel cage weighing over 1,000 pounds, presumably with a few gallons of highly flammable liquid somewhere nearby, moving at high speed. And you had your kids in the car. You don't get to screw around. But yeah, I'd probably give him a big thumbs up and a little toot if I saw his body on the ground in cuffs. Giving a statement was definitely the right thing to do.